I mean, I'm a private person, and for something like that to happen is so mean, you know? It's just a horrible thing.
Scandalous pictures. Vanessa Hudgens, the star of that kids' movie High School Musical. We're always hearing about the big-name bad girls.
Vanessa Hudgens has just learned the downside of fame. Few secrets are ever kept in the dark.
Is it so wrong that I wanna turn you on now? Just bounce around. This beat's so fucking crazy.
Where's Vanessa Hudgens? Girl, you got to keep your clothes on!
We know now that the rat who sent these photos.
Well, they're alleging that it was Drake Bell.
How could I ever repay you?
I think you can guess.
Tell me how you like it, I can do exactly what you need me to. So give me a priceless, cause I know exactly what I'm supposed to do. Funny your devices, baby, I could be another one for you.
You know, there was some controversy about you and the photos that have cropped up.
Hi, I'm Jake.
And I'm Shelby.
Welcome to Deep Dive, where we dive into told and untold stories
in extreme detail. If it happened,
it's probably in a deep dive. Now today, we are going to be talking about the star of the biggest Disney Channel original movie
of all time, Vanessa Hudgens, and just how her fame,
privacy,
and innocence
was dangled in front of her
by a multi-billion-dollar corporation.
We are also going to be diving deep into the rise of High School Musical,
the Disney Channel's pattern of behavior,
and just how her Disney Channel co-stars were exposed
in front of the entire world
and made to apologize
for their own traumatic experiences.
Now, this is the second installment of the Disney Channel machine, and we both want to thank you all so much for the support you've given that video.
I can't believe we're so close to 200,000 subscribers. Every time we do a new video, y'all seriously shock us with how enthusiastic and ready you are.
And so many of you are just so sweet, like it really does mean everything. Sitting down to research these videos is one of the most rewarding parts of the deep dive process, but when tackling a super complex story, it's best to schedule your time out right. And for me, no one has helped me better than today's sponsor, Skillshare. Skillshare has long been a resource for me to refine my editing, enhance new abilities in Photoshop, and help me improve in pretty much every area of my day-to-day life. And my good friend Carrie always says, people may be able to copy you, but they can never take your mind. So having a skill and mastering it, in my opinion, is the most powerful currency. Like truthfully, without YouTube, I don't know where I would be. So I encourage you all to go pick some new abilities up over on Skillshare and take a chance on yourself, invest in yourself, take time for yourself. The first 1,000 people to click the link can even try a free month on Skillshare. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming. As the 90s were coming to an end, the Disney Channel began to usher in their most impactful era of all time. The era of the Disney Channel original movie. Television was still being viewed as a secondary medium to that of a traditional film experience, and Disney had marketed their Disney Channel premiere films for 20 years up to this point, starting with the first premiere film by Alan Shapiro in the 80s. These movies would introduce the world to the pool of stars we know today, and Disney would execute a new strategy to draw young children into their scheduled programming. This would grow into the largest children's network in the industry, form one of the biggest musical franchises in existence, and create multiple generations of huge celebrities. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Vanessa Hudgens was born to Gina and Greg Hudgens in December of 1988 in Salinas, California. Her mother immigrated from the Philippines and met Greg, a firefighter from Missouri. Together they raised their family and moved all over California. But as Vanessa turned 8 years old, she found her love for the arts in San Diego and began appearing in multiple musical theater productions.
First professional job I ever had was the community theater by me. It was like a gorgeous outdoor amphitheater, and it was the Wizard of Oz, and I remember I got paid $50. I played a munchkin. You gotta start somewhere. My advice to kids who want to be a part of the showbiz is really just go for it. Go for it 110% and don't let anyone stop you. I think I was a natural born dancer. Growing up, I loved dancing. When I was about 2 years old, I just would be dancing around the house all day long, to the point where my parents are just like staring at me like, what is this child doing? I started off doing tons of dance classes, singing classes, acting classes, piano classes, because it was something that I loved. I wasn't going for it to become famous. I just did it because I was truly passionate about it.
She began auditioning at a very young age and was able to land her first role at the age of only 14 on the TV show Still Standing. This morphed into a full-blown acting career, as the next year she would star alongside Evan Rachel Wood in the movie 13, along with several other movies. This prompted Vanessa's family to pull her out of school and move to Los Angeles. This would turn out to be a life-changing event, as just 2 years into her new career, she would begin the process of transforming into a bona fide Disney Channel star, and it would begin with a bizarre and often forgotten part of Disney Channel's history. Vanessa would first be cast on Keke Palmer's new Disney Channel show, Keke and Jamal. The show was another advertisement for the Disney Channel machine, as it centered around a young Keke Palmer who had dreams of being an entertainer. And even though her father is tight-knit, he still lets the family move to Los Angeles to follow her dreams. This is a trope that runs through most of Disney Channel's shows and serves as an advertisement to the children they need to cast, showing an aspirational lifestyle. Then, a child the age of the demographic they're marketing to, saying how the Disney Channel made all their dreams come true.
Thinking back on it, I was so nervous waiting for the call from my agent.
Hello? Hey, Debbie, it's Jennifer.
Hi.
So guess what? You have booked the role of Bailey on Sweet Life on Deck.
Oh my word, are you for real? Yeah. Hi, Grandma, it's Debbie. I want to be on Disney Channel. My life just changed today.
A full-fledged system has emerged. It's expertly constructed, and it's bolted in place by censoring the harm happening behind the scenes.
I wasn't sleeping, and I was so miserable and angry too, because I felt like I was being overworked, which I was, and
Yeah. You sound so busy. Do you ever have time to just relax and be a kid and have fun with girlfriends?
I am a kid right now, and I am totally relaxed, so I guess so.
Manicuring aspirational lifestyles and outcomes.
Teen sensation Demi Lovato is having a great year. She performed at the kids' inaugural ball and met the Obama girls.
And then watching young lives tragically implode.
Keke and Jamal unfortunately suffered the same fate as Sweet Life in Miami and Arwen, as the show was never picked up after the initial pilot episode was filmed. However, Disney Channel had big plans for Vanessa that would utilize her beautiful voice and make her an instantaneous Disney Channel icon. In 2006, the Disney Channel released an experimental episode of Even Stevens, in which the cast performed in a musical. The episode reportedly did so well, Disney ordered 2 more projects, the first being a musical episode of That's So Raven, the second being an entire Disney Channel original movie that was a musical. The executive producer of Even Stevens revealed that when he brought the idea of a musical episode to the Disney Channel, they weren't interested in doing a musical at all, and it wasn't something they even envisioned being successful. AJ Troth from Even Stevens was quoted saying, "There hadn't been any musical episodes yet. Obviously Hannah Montana hadn't come out yet. Glee didn't exist. High School Musical obviously didn't exist. Hilary Duff was barely on the channel, so they hadn't started doing the crossover thing with music and their acting talents. It was a novel concept for the time, but this episode was a ginormous success and Disney knew it." Christy Carlson Romano even said, quote, "Disney internally called me and told me that the episode, the musical, was officially named one of the pinnacles within the channel's history. That was looked at as one of the biggest shifts in the channel's history, and it must be because they then realized it was something they wanted to do across the board." The CEO of Disney Channel, Gary Marsh, even stated that if it weren't for the musical episode of Even Stevens, then High School Musical would have never been developed. The casting process for High School Musical would be rigorous, as Disney Channel's triple threat rule would take full effect. The children auditioning would need to be the best singers and actors in the world, and Disney had an extremely talented pool of children they would pick from. High School Musical would catapult Ashley Tisdale, Lucas Grabeel, Corbin Bleu, Monique Coleman, Zac Efron, and none other than Vanessa Hudgens into the homes of millions of families. Unlike the world had seen before, the High School Musical cast would become household names virtually overnight.
Well, I really think High School Musical has done an awful lot for me. I mean, Disney is such a big machine, and it has done so much for everybody. And like Lindsay Lohan, it helped. Hilary Duff, it helped. And it's a really great jump board to get everybody out there. And I got my record deal from it, and I'm here now basically from High School Musical. And none of us really thought that it would take off like it did. And then we started doing tons of shows. We did Good Morning America, and we performed in the middle of Times Square. And I'm looking around like, I never thought I would be in New York, nonetheless performing in the middle of Times Square.
It must be amazing to watch what High School Musical has done.
Yeah, it really is, because we honestly had no idea it was going to blow up like it did.
Well, I heard a little rumor that you're hopelessly romantic with this guy.
Since then, I got a record deal, and I've been recording my album and all that craziness, and it's kind of harder to go out now without being trampled by fans. But you know, I love it. It's just been kind of hectic since I've done High School Musical.
Tonight, we will see one of the most highly anticipated entertainment events of the summer. High School Musical 2 premieres on the Disney Channel.
What you gonna do when I'm only in La Perla and pumps, boy? Stop staring with you shaking your trunk. Fantasize about me right after the club, boy. Got you feeling hot and you can't get enough. You want it in a rubber band and get the fuck out my face. Fuck them other bitches, baby, cut to the chase. Icon, diva doll, only riding big raves. Take me in the club, I'm not fucking at your mom's place.
As a major scandal was brewing behind the scenes that would shake up the release of High School Musical 2 more than anyone could have expected, Vanessa and Zach were at the height of their teen fame. Hairspray had just been released, and teen idol Zac Efron was posing shirtless for Rolling Stone with no scrutiny from Disney or the media. High School Musical 2, also having just been released, was proving to be the largest Disney Channel original movie success of all time, catapulting Vanessa Hudgens right into the limelight just as her biggest scandal would break. In the days leading to the infamous photo leak, Vanessa landed the cover of Teen Magazine with an exclusive interview, where she would be quoted saying, "I love being a role model because in Hollywood, there aren't a lot of role models to look up to. The fact that there's a whole bunch of good kids coming out who are now stepping into the limelight, I'm very proud of that."
Do you feel the pressure, though, to be perfect? Because your show and your movies and your music and everything is watched and loved by very young, impressionable kids.
No, not at all. Just because, I mean, I grew up with good morals. I'm a good kid. I'm not going to go to the clubs and dance on tables and stumble outside for the paparazzi to see. And I mean, I'm not into that. Like, I don't want to do it. So, like, setting a good example is something that I love because there's not very many people who girls should be looking up to. So, being able to do that, like, it's an honor, really.
See, isn't it fantastic that you have a young lady like this that can be a role model when you certainly flip through the magazines and you see some chaos? It's great to have someone like Vanessa in the world. No pressure.
As we know, Disney loves to put unrealistic expectations and pressures onto their young stars, turning them into perfect role models for their child audience. But when you curate a perfect image for a teenager by putting them high up on a pedestal, it makes the inevitable fall that much more damaging. And in September 2007, a then 18-year-old Vanessa Hudgens would experience how just in a blink of an eye, her good girl Disney reputation would change to no fault of her own, and just how quickly Disney executives would throw her under the bus. The National Enquirer released a story hitting newsstands stating nude photos of the High School Musical teen star would begin circulating the internet. They reported at the time that the private photos were meant for Vanessa's then boyfriend and co-star Zac Efron. Now keep in mind, this is summer 2007, where there was a major shift in technology happening. The fall of the BlackBerry was upon us, and the rise of the iPhone had just begun. The internet was now in the pockets of more people than ever before. Because of this shift, when the photo of Vanessa hit the internet, it spread like wildfire. Vanessa's private photo was all any major media outlet could talk about for days.
Photos of Vanessa Hudgens have supposedly been leaked, and according to the National Enquirer, they're not yearbook portraits. A source who claims to have seen the suggestive snapshots tells the Enquirer that Vanessa took the pics shooting into a mirror with her camera phone, except for a gold chain around her waist. If the shots of Vanessa Hudgens do indeed surface, it could spell trouble for the Disney company. One insider told the Enquirer that the pics of one of the high school stars would be catastrophic, adding it could bring the whole High School Musical franchise to its knees.
So then, Lindsay in rehab, Paris in jail. Hollywood seems to love a good scandal. We're always hearing about the big-name bad girls. Now, scandalous pictures of Vanessa Hudgens, the star of that kids' movie High School Musical, which was overwhelmingly popular in the Disney Channel, just came out. We're told that will probably mean millions for her career.
Okay, now earlier you saw Miley Cyrus talking about being up for an Emmy.
Yes, well, now we've got the Hannah Montana star and her dad, Billy, opening up about High School Musical star Vanessa Hudgens' picture scandal.
I didn't see anything about it. Did you, Mal? Hello?
It's everywhere, but the thing is that, stop trying to lie, it's like, but the thing is mistakes happen, and I'm really just happy that I can be there for her as a friend, because that's what she needs more than anything.
She's a human being, you know, people are going to make mistakes, and when you make one, you just got to readjust and regroup and go back with life.
He's taught me just that, you know, mistakes happen whether you're in the spotlight or not.
There's been sort of a bit of controversy about it at the moment. I know you found out about it on the red carpet last night about some supposed new photos of your apparent girlfriend, Vanessa.
Really?
Do you know about this? Is this true, or is this just something that's been made up?
You know, regardless if it's true or if it's not, you know, personal question, and I don't talk about any of my friends' personal lives.
And since this was 2007, the same year the media tried to destroy Britney Spears, you can imagine there was no empathy that Vanessa's privacy was violated or that the whole world had access to intimate photos that weren't meant to be seen. The media would relentlessly shame Vanessa, even though she was the victim of what is now a crime called revenge or non-consensual pornography. The timing of all of this happening could not be any worse, as Vanessa was in the middle of negotiations with Disney for High School Musical 3, which, due to the success of High School Musical 2, Disney was expanding the budget to have High School Musical 3 released in theaters. Parents who rely way too heavily on celebrities to be role models for their children were outraged, and every blog post was speculating that Disney would replace Vanessa to maintain their squeaky clean image. But Disney knew better. They knew getting rid of Vanessa would completely ruin their cash cow that is the $4 billion High School Musical franchise. So instead, according to Joe Jonas's New York Times confessional, a group of Disney executives went into damage control mode, locking Vanessa in their offices the entire day to keep her on lockdown while figuring out how to public relations their way out of it. Joe Jonas even said Disney executives would talk openly about the photo scandal amongst other Disney stars, and would even thank the Jonas brothers for not making, quote, mistakes, like Vanessa, which in turn made them feel like they could never make mistakes of their own. Joe Jonas continued saying that you can't be a perfect little puppet forever. Both Vanessa's and Disney's statements on the situation were released the very next day at the same exact time. Vanessa, being forced to apologize for someone invading her privacy, said, "I want to apologize to my fans, whose support and trust means the world to me. I am embarrassed over the situation and regret having ever taken these photos. I am thankful for the support of my family and friends." Disney's statement, clearly blaming Vanessa, said Vanessa has apologized for what was obviously a lapse in judgment. A Disney representative also said the photo would not affect its decision to cast Hudgens in the third film of the High School Musical franchise, and that negotiations for the cast and creative team were continuing.
High School Musical star Vanessa Hudgens has just learned the downside of fame, that few secrets are ever kept in the dark.
It's not that I want to be famous. I mean, I love doing my movies and everything, and I guess it comes with the territory.
The hard lesson came yesterday when a nude photo of the 18-year-old actress surfaced on the internet. In the full frontal pic, Vanessa is standing in what appears to be a bedroom. And while questions arose over whether or not it really was the starlet, her rep confirmed it all to E! News, saying, quote, "This was a photo which was taken privately. It is a personal matter, and it is unfortunate that this has become public." Contrary to rumored reports, Vanessa's rep tells us her client's not being replaced in the High School Musical series. She's currently in negotiations to star in the third installment.
Vanessa? From High School Musical, apparently had some, what are they, nude photos online that she, I don't know if she sent them to her boyfriend or what, but they, supposedly she sent them to her boyfriend, and now they're all over the internet. It's just, we're kind of in this world where there's no secret. You got to really start thinking young. Okay, everything that I'm doing now is going to affect me for the rest of my life. It's intimidating.
You know, number one, she apologized. Number two, Disney said because the show is so successful that it's not going to make any difference in her career.
And I know you talked about hanky-panky boy shorts and getting a car, and we made fun of your coworker, but you know what? She's brought enough on herself. The girlfriend, man, she needs to hire somebody to maintain the lawn at her house. You know, I mean, and the world knows that now, and so I remember all of these things from our previous conversations. Go ahead and laugh, because you know you want to.
I'm uncomfortable.
Well, be comfortable.
Now, what the public may not remember about this scandal is how much worse it got after the statements were released. The media couldn't just drop it, and it seemed like anyone who knew Vanessa prior to fame were coming out of the woodwork for their own 15 minutes. In the days after Vanessa's statement apologizing, not only was she hit with a lawsuit from her lawyer prior to landing her Disney role, but more quote scandalous photos would be released. But this round of photos were not photos, and many were silly face pictures any typical teenager would take.
Vanessa Hudgens spotted for the first time since her picture scandal, and we're weak on Zach with another woman. So get this, Vanessa Hudgens was scheduled to be on Jay Leno's show tonight, but the young star has canceled. Maybe she doesn't want to talk about certain pictures. Well, Samantha can tell us where Vanessa is. It's been just over a week since the scandal. You know, when nude photos of Vanessa Hudgens hit the internet. The High School Musical star has been laying low, but we did manage to spot her at Hollywood Video in Los Angeles with her little sister, and later photogs snapped her leaving the gym. But where's the BF? Zac Efron. He's been spotted with another woman. Zac and Nikki Blonsky? Yep, the actors were in Madrid, Spain yesterday promoting their movie Hairspray. And Vanessa was a hot topic in our e-talk box this week, so what will the fallout from her photo scandal be? Listen.
Scandal. You're a kid star. Not good with anything. No. It'll help her career. Look at Paris Hilton. I think it's going to hurt her career. It's just help. Definitely help her. She's too squeaky clean.
Dane Cook goes up there and kind of just completely calls out Vanessa Hudgens in front of the whole place and pretty much just tells her to keep her clothes on.
Before I do the choice hotties, can I just say what everybody in this room is thinking but nobody has said? Where's Vanessa Hudgens? Girl, you got to keep your clothes on! Phones are for phone calls, girl!
She looked pissed. Oh, that was just amazing. I thought that was amazing. Finally, someone is telling this girl what phones are for.
Liked it. You liked it?
I'm okay with it. I mean, the only person that should be devastated is her.
No. But that's her own fault too, right?
And the story would just keep going for what seems like weeks. To make Vanessa seem even worse, people dropped a story stating a source informed them that a couple years before Vanessa was famous, she sent nude photos to Drake Bell via email, as Vanessa had once guest starred on Drake and Josh.
Now, Vanessa Hudgens and the photos that were published. There is an allegation that we know now the source of the rat who sent these photos public, and he was...
It was, well, they're alleging that it was Drake Bell that put those photos out.
And Drake Bell, he had that Nickelodeon show with the other fellow, what was it called again?
Josh and Drake.
Josh and Drake.
Right.
And the Drake of Josh and Drake, that was a big show in 2006. I remember my kids watched it. You say that he did what? He publicized these photos?
No, hold on. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that there are reports out there that are saying that he received the photos, but they're also saying that the photos that Vanessa sent Drake, this is kind of interesting, are not the same photos as the ones that were just
Which
released.
one is Drake? Drake is the...
Now the photos are public, so who did it?
And are there more photos coming?
You're gonna have to wait and see.
Oh my God, okay.
We don't know for certain.
Okay.
Drake Bell's representative would respond to this story and state that Drake never received such photos, but that wouldn't stop everyone running with the story that Vanessa sent photos to Drake Bell. The National Enquirer, who were so proud of themselves for breaking the photo scandal story would then speak with Vanessa's ex-boyfriend in a now deleted article. Now, this story was clearly aimed to shame Vanessa further and to make it appear as if she is passing out photos like candy. But what it really did was legally complicate the story. Vanessa had been 18 for a little over half a year when the initial photo was released. The media was speculating that it was a photo meant for Zac Efron, but in reality, they didn't know where the photo came from, how old it was, nor who it was meant for. Vanessa's ex-boyfriend Adam, from when she was 15, told the National Enquirer that the photo circulating the internet was a photo she sent him in January of 2004, making Vanessa Hudgens underage in that photo. Now, the National Enquirer is not a trusted source, and they did swiftly delete this article, never speaking of the photo ever again. The question is, did they delete the article because it was a lie? Or did they delete the article because it would prove that the nude photo everyone was shaming Vanessa for was actually an underage illegal photo?
You know, there was some controversy about you and the photos that have cropped up months ago. How did you handle that? Did you have good support from your fans about that?
Yeah, you know, my fans are amazing because they have stood by my side, you know, and I mean, they really are my core group. My family's always there for me, and I don't know, I just had to surround myself with good people and just try to think of good things, you know.
How did you feel when that controversy came about?
I mean, I think people thought I took it lighter than I really did, you know. For me, it was really tough because, I mean, I'm a private person, and for something like that to happen is so mean, you know. It's just a horrible thing, and I mean, it sucked, but thankfully it's over now.
It's over.
Thing of the past, yeah.
Even after being exposed in front of her family, friends, and the entire world, Vanessa would keep pushing forward and go on to star in High School Musical 3, which released in the summer of 2008, grossing $258 million. High School Musical quickly became the highest-grossing Disney Channel original movie series of all time. In 2009, Vanessa would star in a movie called Band Slam alongside Ali Michalka, and days before the release, Vanessa would yet again be a victim of revenge as more photos would leak onto the internet. According to reports, these photos were old and more than likely of an underage Vanessa Hudgens.
High School Musical's Vanessa Hudgens has had photos of herself leaked on the internet. Again.
High School Musical 1, 2, and 3 star Vanessa Hudgens has done it again. Today, the actress, singer, and inventor of Sneaker Night leaked more naughty photos of herself. I love this one where she's blowing a kiss. She's like, ooh, look, I just ate Zac Efron. You want a taste?
Now that topless photos of Vanessa Hudgens have hit the web, the High School Musical star is the subject of another photo scandal. While we can't show you the risque photos of Vanessa Hudgens wearing nothing but tiny gold undies, we can tell you she's said to have been 17 years old when she took the topless shots of herself.
The 22-year-old just can't seem to escape some racy photos she took years ago that somehow keep ending up online. Now, more images from that same set have reportedly ended up back on the internet. And, according to Hudgens' lawyer, police are now involved in searching for the person responsible.
Now that Vanessa was no longer under the thumb of Disney, she was not forced to apologize or make a statement, and this time she filed a federal lawsuit against the site mojackson.com for posting her photos illegally. The 2009 leak would not be the last time Vanessa would be a victim of this kind of online violation. Just when Vanessa thought she was finally safe, in 2014, there was a massive Icloud hack of celebrities where many A-list celebrity were leaked online in an event deemed the Fappening.
The celebrity leaker strikes again, and this time Kim K and Vanessa Hudgens have joined the list of victims. Alright, whoever's doing this is beyond creepy. On Saturday morning, nude photos of Kim Kardashian, Vanessa Hudgens, and more of Jennifer Lawrence were uploaded to 4chan and Reddit, but thank God were taken down due to the opposition that both companies have toward hacked photos. Dish Additional victims of this leak include Avril Lavigne, Hope Solo, Lily Sobieski, and Lake Bell.
This time though, the public perception of nudes being illegally obtained and spread online for the world to see without consent started to change. In 2015, Section 33 of the Criminal Justice and Courts Act came into force, creating a new criminal offense for disclosing private sexual photographs and films with intent to cause distress. It wouldn't be until 2020, 13 years after the scandal, where Vanessa would actually open up about it. She was quoted saying, "It was a really traumatizing thing for me. It's really f***ed up that people feel like they are entitled enough to share something that personal with the world. As an actor, you completely lose all grip of your own privacy, and it's really sad."
If you've been a Disney fan since way back in the day, you probably remember one of the biggest scandals in 2007 was Vanessa Hudgens' nude photo leak. And now she is finally opening up about how traumatizing the entire media storm was for her. Vanessa's life seemed completely flawless, that is, until her photos were leaked onto the internet. Obviously, the photos caused a wave of negative media attention, especially because Vanessa's target audience was very young. This whole frenzy resulted in Vanessa being forced to apologize for the pictures, even though the leak was not her fault. So also said, quote, "I think that is because there's a disconnect when you see your favorite actors on the screen, and you see them now on your TV, in your homes, and you can watch them whenever you want. There's almost, I don't want to say lack of respect because that sounds negative, but it just makes you feel like you know them even though you don't."
Vanessa Hudgens was one of the first celebrity victims of revenge, but she wouldn't be the last. This scandal would set off a domino effect of Disney Channel valuing their brand over the children they employ. The threat of unemployment nearly always drove child stars to obey Disney Channel at all costs, even if it meant being the sacrificial lamb in an area of public embarrassment.
Unfortunately, this isn't the only time the Disney Channel has asked a victim of revenge to apologize for their own exploitation. Disney Channel has a long documented history of making young girls apologize for their own photo leaks or photos taken by the paparazzi.
Obviously, the transition is definitely tough, but it is what it is. Like, it's like anything in my life. I mean, if you read the book, you'll be like, transitioning from Disney to this was easy. I don't know, getting for from your 6 to your 14 seems like way harder circumstances, or being physically abused all the time seems like a much more difficult situation than have paparazzi following you since you were 12. I don't know. I was still being when paparazzi were still following me. So it's pretty hard in my mind to think about these big flashlight photographs and everyone thinking they know me and talking about me, but having no idea the type of mistreatment that I was still dealing with at that time, that everyone around me saw and did nothing. So I don't know. You tell me what's so hard. Because that to me, way harder than any other of this other that I do on a daily basis.
Bella Thorne would make her debut on the Disney Channel at just 13 years old on the hit show Shake It Up, alongside Euphoria alumni Zendaya. This show would center around two girls getting their big break on a hit local dance show in the city of Chicago. The show may be a pleasant nostalgic memory of the past for many. However, according to her appearance on the Tom Ward Show, Bella's experience was tainted, as she was almost fired at only 14 years old for wearing a bikini.
Yeah, I came from the channel and I was told to be a very different person than I am, which is okay because on that road
One of those stories though I thought was interesting was like when you're 14 I read somewhere that you're wearing a bikini, like a skimpy bikini, and like somebody did these like whoa, like that's not cool.
So somebody took a photo of me in a bathing suit. Yeah, it was a sexy bathing suit, it's black, it's got like a little bit of like fun little lace underneath. My mom picked it out. It was cute. I don't know. And then
no big deal.
It was they said you're lucky that Bella has such a fan base that we can't afford to fire her at this moment in time. But if she does one more other thing, we will.
That's scary though at 14 because your father passed away when you were 9. Right? So you were working at a young age, and was that scary? Like, hey, this is a real job, a real good paying gig. I don't want to get fired. Like, was there some of that too?
Well, the reason that we took the Shake It Up really in the first place was because we were about to
be living on the streets. So it wasn't really a choice. So yeah, when it was like, hold up there, you know.
The Cheetah Girls were the largest group on the Disney Channel to date. They grossed millions in tours, albums, and 3 different hit movies. However, their group would come to a bitter end, all because of the Disney Channel, and more specifically, a scandal involving Adrienne Bailon.
Oh my gosh, please try not to smack me in the face with the box.
Adrienne and I have been together a little over a year now. She is a Cheetah Girl. I love her and I really wanted to make it work. So Adrienne and I are moving in together.
I have never lived with a boyfriend before, so this is a huge step for me, and we just want it to go really well.
According to an article released by AceShowbiz.com, Adrienne Bailon, one of the members of the singing group The Cheetah Girls, has issued a public apology dedicated to her fans soon after her racy pictures hit the internet. The pics that show her wearing only bra and exposing her naked bottom to the camera reportedly are intended to be sent to her boyfriend Rob Kardashian, the younger brother of celebrity socialite Kim Kardashian. Reportedly, Adrienne's leaked nude pictures were stolen from her laptop when it went missing for a few hours at New York City's JFK airport. The same day the laptop was stolen, Adrienne's record label alleged they got an anonymous phone call from a man saying he would return the device for $1,000. Her spokesperson, Jonathan Jackson, whom she shared with Kim Kardashian, has issued a statement explaining the photos that have surfaced of Adrienne Bailon were stolen from her laptop over a week ago at an airport in New York and sent to several media outlets. Jonathan reveals further, these photos were taken in private. Adrienne will be pursuing legal action against the person or persons sending these private photos out. While the laptop was returned, the damage to Adrienne's Disney reputation had already been done. On top of the planned legal action, Adrienne is, quote, deeply sorry for any pain this may have caused to her fans. However, Jonathan Jackson's book and press tour would later reveal a different side to the story. After the initial leak, Jonathan revealed his reported plan with Adrienne to drum up publicity. Jackson admitted that after the laptop was stolen, he and the 25-year-old singer decided to, quote, juice up the story by saying that nude pictures could have possibly been stolen. Jonathan told Fox, Adrienne's tour with the Cheetah Girls will be over December 22nd, so she is then free to pursue other projects and wanted to be seen as more adult and sexy. So after the laptop was stolen, we used it as an opportunity to drum up some publicity and start speculating about nude photos, but we never expected anything to get out. He told the news that the photos were actually taken from her phone, not her laptop, and said Adrienne and her boyfriend, Kim Kardashian's younger brother Robert, swear they didn't leak them, but it wouldn't surprise me if Adrienne did. It's either her or someone very close to her. Things are pretty ugly. What should have been an image boost has really turned around and bitten her in the butt. Adrienne has been crying for 2 days straight. She's on her Cheetah Girls tour right now, so she has to explain to her fans and is totally distraught. Her career is in real jeopardy. She was a very sweet girl that desperately wanted out of the kid-focused Disney star-making machine. So we had concocted a plan where we would act like her laptop was stolen at the airport in New York, and she was concerned because there were nude photos on there. Unbeknownst to Jackson, he claims, Adrienne then took things a step further by actually releasing X-rated shots. And when she tried to blame him for the photos getting released, he showed Disney the emails proving she was in it all along. Jonathan said after they saw the evidence, she was released from her Disney contract, and her musical group, Cheetah Girls, was promptly removed from Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade because of the scandal.
Adrienne, I had to ask you about these pictures because I'm getting text messages. Yeah. Sight, take it easy, Sight. Pull back.
Honestly, that's the only thing that makes me feel better about it.
Oh, and that reaction?
Because it sure makes me want to kill myself, but...
Oh, I was there at MTV the day because you lost your laptop, right?
Yes.
I was at MTV and you came in all off because it was at the airport or something?
Definitely crying, late because I actually was getting ready to do my meeting for Afternoons on MTV.
You lost your laptop?
Yes.
And then you leave your laptop where?
No, it actually got lost at JFK. Thank God somebody actually returned it to us.
But by then the pictures had been...
Honestly, we don't know. Honestly, we don't. I can't say that for sure. We really don't know. Like, I've spent a handful of money figuring this situation out, to be quite honest with you. But there are no laws for the internet, to be honest with you. There are no laws for the internet. You can put anything and everything on there. If anybody wants to help me with this cause, help me out, somebody, because literally there's nothing you can do. There's no way to trace it. People create Gmail accounts and there's really nothing to do. I've considered subpoenaing Google and...
So when something like this happens to you, and now you're friends with Kim, and Kim's been through her own share of this, we're all aware of this. Do you go to Kim and say...
Honestly, I did after the fact, like way later. My first reaction was to obviously call my mom, because that's really the only opinion I really care about, to be quite honest.
Right.
And my mom was there for me. She's like, Mama, I know you. You're not this is so not you. Like, especially with the rumors that it was intentional. Anybody that knows me knows that those photos were not airbrushed, and if I had a choice, they would have been. And that you can get paid for these sorts of things, 6 figures, you can get paid to, you know, release photos of yourself naked. Why would I, first of all, not get paid? I'm a cheetah girl. Like, why would I not get paid for this? And, you know, it sucks.
Right.
I was not happy at all, especially to be on the road in the middle of this. I then had to, the same day, get up and do a show. Where it sucked. It really sucked.
No bueno.
As Becas would say, no bueno.
So then you...
and in the moment, you think you're gonna die. I was for sure, everything, like, I'm over. I just need to go home and work at Rite Aid. And I'll be fine with that. Honestly, at that time, I felt like, I really don't even want to be a part of this. But anybody, like, seriously, everybody that told me it was gonna be okay, like Kim, she's like, it goes away. Like, you get better. Like, people will start remembering you for what I actually am. I've worked all this time in my life to do Cheetah Girls and to be this role model. You know, 10 years of my life spending doing this, I wouldn't have just thrown it away for something stupid like this at all.
Right.
It was no bueno.
No bueno.
No.
So I feel like they were bueno. But you're not getting upset. Don't get upset. You're not getting upset.
No, that's relief. That was a sigh of relief.
Oh, to talk about it.
Yeah, at least thank you, Lord. It's not like hideous.
Right. Well, now you're moving forward. You have an album deal at Def Jam.
Yes.
You have a reality show in the works.
Guys, it's in the works. There's a camera in here.
Now, whether Jonathan or Adrian's sides of the story are correct, Disney Channel still made Adrian apologize for the photos being uploaded, thus further cementing their pattern of behavior. But unfortunately, this wasn't enough, as the final example we'll be discussing today will be centered around one of the biggest stars on the planet, Miley Cyrus.
They told me where to go and I do what I'm supposed to do and head home and be a kid.
I think I've been in entertainment boot camp since I was young because I've never been like a normal person because I had to grow up like so quick.
The Miley Cyrus topless Vanity Fair photo scandal. Entertainment Tonight was first to show you the shots, and we broke the story about her embarrassment. Well, now new details emerge.
According to Billboard, in 2008, at the age of only 15, Cyrus worked with renowned photographer Annie Leibovitz for a feature in Vanity Fair. One of her portraits shows the young star, then famous for her role on the Disney Channel's Hannah Montana, wrapped in what looks to be just a satin sheet with the skin of her back exposed. News publications ran with the story, intentionally shaming Miley Cyrus across every grocery store checkout aisle.
It's the photograph that has launched a firestorm. The 15-year-old's provocative pose, hair wet, with only a discreetly placed sheet covering her top. The controversial photo is the cover story of today's New York Post. The Disney Channel, which broadcasts Hannah Montana, is not happy about the photos, telling us, quote, "Unfortunately, as the article suggests, a situation was created to deliberately manipulate a 15-year-old in order to sell magazines." Inside the issue of Vanity Fair on stands this week, the superstar is lovingly cradled by her father, Billy Ray. He was on hand for most of the shoot with famed photographer Annie Leibovitz. In this video from the set, you can see Billy Ray leaving with her mom and their younger daughter. A source on the set tells us only Miley's grandmother and teacher were there for what ended up being the last shot of the day.
And she allowed Annie to sort of, do this one picture, which at the time it didn't really seem provocative at all.
In the article, Miley said of the photo, quote, "I think it's really artsy and you can't say no to Annie."
Miley had no problem with it whatsoever.
The New York Times saying 15 years old and suggestively wrapped in what appears to be a satin bedsheet in the June issue of Vanity Fair. Did Miley Cyrus, with the help of a controversy-courting magazine, just deliver a blow to the Walt Disney Company's billion-dollar Hannah Montana franchise? The article continues saying some parents reacted with outrage over the weekend when the television program Entertainment Tonight began showing commercials promoting a scoop Miss Cyrus the star of the wholesome Disney Channel blockbuster Hannah Montana had posed topless, albeit with her chest covered. Screen grabs of the photo quickly popped up online, sparking a blogosphere debate. "Bonfire, anyone?" wrote Lynn Burris on her marriage and parenting blog. Quote, "telling it like it is," referring to the mountain of Hannah Montana retail items, makeup, shoes, clothes in the marketplace. "Parents should be extremely concerned," Ms. Buress said in an interview. "Very young girls look up to Miley Cyrus as a role model. It is doubtful that one photograph, especially one that is tame in the context of an internet awash in nude photographs of other starlets, could dent the Hannah Montana machine," said several Wall Street analysts. Retail sales for the franchise are expected to total about $1 billion in 2008. A motion picture is in the works for 2009, and Miss Cyrus signed a 7-figure book deal with the Disney Book Group last week. But keeping a teenage entertainment franchise on track in an age when stars are monitored around the clock by bloggers and paparazzi is, quote, extremely difficult, even for a company with the experience of Disney. Executives are constantly battling to keep minor slip-ups from growing into full-blown controversies. In a caption for the photo published in that Vanity Fair interview, Miley wasn't fazed by the pose, potentially being seen as controversial. She was quoted as saying, "No, I mean, I had a big blanket on, and I thought this looks pretty and really natural. I think it's really artsy." The article, written by Bruce Handy, quoted Miley saying, "Annie took like a beautiful shot, and I thought it was really cool." She also said of the photo, "I think it's really artsy. It wasn't in a way." However, Disney Channel rushed to protect their image they had crafted for her and throw her completely under the bus.
With Vanity Fair about to hit newsstands, Miley wants the millions who idolize and adore her to know she is sorry, saying, quote, "I never intended for any of this to happen, and I apologize to my fans who I care so deeply about."
Miley released a statement saying, "I took part in a photo shoot that was supposed to be artistic, and now, seeing the photographs and reading the story, I feel so embarrassed. I never intended for any of this to happen." Beth Kesniak, a spokesperson for both Vanity Fair magazine and Miss Lebowitz, said, "Miley's parents and reminders were on the set all day. Since the photo was taken digitally, they saw it on the shoot, and everyone thought it was a beautiful and natural portrait of Miley." The article continues, "At the very least, Miss Cyrus and her advisors do not seem to be on the same page as Disney. The company learned of the photos only when Entertainment Tonight started showing its promos." Last week, Gary Marsh, the president of entertainment for Disney Channel Worldwide, was quoted in Portfolio magazine saying, "For Miley Cyrus to be a good girl is now a business decision for her parents. Parents have invested in her godliness. If she violates that trust, she won't get it back."
Fans and parents react after Miley Cyrus poses for a provocative photo shoot. Does that change your image of Hannah Montana?
Yeah, well, I'm kind of shocked. I'm embarrassed for them, actually. I would have thought she wanted to be a better role model.
I believe if that picture had been taken in her mid-20s, it would have been okay. I don't think anybody would have flinched at it. But at 15 years old, no.
It makes her look like a, scum. It makes her look like a little
Gina Anselmo watches Hannah Montana every day with 15-year-old Jordan. That's why it's no surprise the controversial pictures by legendary photographer Annie Leibovitz shocked the Jupiter mother and her daughter.
They made her look like little They made her look like she was something that she's not.
And to be honest with you, I think if the media wasn't that intense, I don't think she'd be freaking out about doing these pictures. So it's like a catch-22. I don't think it's a big deal. The girl's got her head screwed on straight. She's a superstar. Most 15-year-olds don't have their own show, aren't like rock stars. I think she's like smart. I think she's conscious.
You have to be smart about it and realize the position that you're in and that everybody's going to want to try and find the bad, But, yeah, I think it's definitely a tough situation to be in, and I've been in it before, and it is what it is, and it's life, and you go on,
Call me cynical, but does she really feel so embarrassed, or is everybody glad about all of the attention and all the publicity that this is getting?
Well, in this photo shoot, as you mentioned, she appears to be wrapped in just a sheet. So is the image too sexy for the Disney Channel star? Disney seems to think so, saying the teen was manipulated in a statement to the New York Post.
I think this is a good lesson for her to learn so she doesn't go down the path that Britney Spears went down or some of the other girls that were in her shoes as well.
Yeah, Eric, I was saying to you, I think that parents should not ask any of these people to be a role model. I mean, she's a 15-year-old girl. Clearly, her parents have chosen a totally different path for her. I think she's got a lot of talent. She's very professional. I also think that, she's accelerated at that. When you're put in that life, you're not 15. You might be more like 18 in your maturity level.
I mean, I think it's very complicated, actually. I think you're right that we shouldn't look to these folks to be role models. On the other hand, she's an outspoken Christian, okay? And as a Christian, I have to say, if somebody like that doesn't have better spiritual advisors or her parents aren't guiding her, she should keep her mouth shut about her faith. And I think that this is possibly a great lesson for her to learn, because what will happen is she does have a lot of Christian fans. They will turn their back on her, or let's hope they turn their back on her if she thinks this is a kind of a cool career move.
Christians make mistakes. Christians make mistakes, and we can forgive her as Christians.
Let's see what Bill.
Yeah, well, I just got to say, look, first of all, I saw women wearing less than this at the White House Correspondents'
Yeah.
No doubt. I said it's like an evening gown what she's got on.
But they were older and supposedly wiser. Look, she's 15, and what I want to know is, what was her father thinking?
Exactly.
What were her minders thinking? This is just outrageous to take advantage of her like this. And she says she's embarrassed. Look, she's 15. She should have known better. She should have thought of about that before she took her clothes off.
She apologized for the picture, and on top of that, people are trying to defend her, saying that she was manipulated into posing like that and taking that picture. But both her parents were there. She wasn't manipulated. She thought it was artistic. She wanted to do it. She did it. But everyone's giving her crap for it, and now she feels like she has to apologize to save her career. It's ridiculous.
The photo that was taken of her is seemingly looking topless with the sheet wrapped around her. What was your reaction when you saw that picture? Did you know it was going to be in the magazine?
Oh, Lord, no. I wasn't there when that picture was taken. I had just finished a movie down in Florida. I flew in because Annie had specifically asked that I would come in and do a shot with Miley. So I flew into L.A., did my picture with Miley, and then I headed on up to Washington State to play for the troops. So I wasn't there at the time. So I was surprised when I saw it, but again, stuff happens, that's life.
Yeah, but you came under some heat too because of the picture when you mentioned about you and your daughter. A lot of people took issue with that because it didn't look like a father and a daughter. It looked like a boyfriend and a girlfriend. And now when you look, but it's true. I mean, a lot of bloggers were very upset by that.
Bloggers say a lot of different things, but not a mistake to me. If it is to someone else, I'm sorry if I offended somebody.
Photographer Annie Leibovitz said in a statement today, quote, "I'm sorry that my portrait of Miley has been misinterpreted. The photograph is a simple classic portrait shot with very little makeup, and I think it is very beautiful."
Every other tabloid magazine or show out there needed to run a story on that because that's what they wanted to sell in their magazine, so they made it up.
Miley, I'm very curious about, this is something that you tweeted yesterday, and so this is a screen grab from Twitter. You wrote, "I'm not sorry, F you, hashtag 10 years ago." So you took a picture of this New York Post. Did you have this in your house? You came across it?
No, I found this because I never really keep track of the years that have gone by since something like this. And so I guess it was apparently 10 years ago. And I think a lot of things have changed. And I think the conversation has changed a lot. And I think, something that I really thought about was, sure, some people thought that I did something wrong in their eyes. But I think it was really wrong of someone to put on top of someone that this is my shame and that I should be ashamed of myself.
Well, that's the New York Post.
That's not a nice thing to tell someone that they should be ashamed of themselves.
No, yeah, but that's...
Besides Donald Trump.
But did you... At that time, did you apologize for doing that? I don't remember.
I think I did, but I'm sure someone told me to. But
you.
You know what? That's why I don't do what people tell me to anymore, because that idea sucks. So they want to know why I come on, TV shows with no shirt on. Blame them.
Do you remember who told you to apologize? Do you have any recollection of that?
I think at that time I just wanted this to go away, and I think I also was trying to balance and understand what being a role model is. And to me, I think being a role model has been my free-spiritedness and sometimes my unapologetic attitude for decisions that I feel comfortable with. And in a day, it's like anything else. For me, when this photo was taken, and I know this will probably get turned around too, but when this photo was taken, my little sister was here on set. She actually was sitting with Annie Leibovitz taking photos too, and there was nothing sexualized about this on set, and it was everyone else's poisonous thoughts and minds that ended up turning this into something that it wasn't meant to be. So actually, I shouldn't be ashamed. They should be.
The Disney Channel from the early 2000s represents a time where pop culture completely shifted, and as the various actors and actresses grew up, their careers would evolve into something even the Disney Channel couldn't control. The countless apologies Disney Channel has pressured their actors to make is at times worrisome. From 1999's Maxim scandal with Melissa Joan Hart to the exploitation of Vanessa Hudgens, The Disney Channel has proven time and time again that they will more often than not value the damage of a PR scandal over one of their own child actors. Whether it's a breakout movie star like Vanessa Hudgens or a pop superstar like Miley Cyrus, Disney Channel sites were on a squeaky clean image for their brand, no matter the cost.
Vanessa,
Yes.
are you ready for this?
I am very ready.
Okay.
Do you remember in kindergarten how you meet a kid, know absolutely nothing about them, and then 10 seconds later you're playing like your best friends? Because you have to be anything but yourself.
You're so sweet and beautiful and perfect.
Singing with you felt like that.
That was it, and you booked the job.